Jason Chaffetz is with me now, Fox News contributor and former Utah congressman. First of all, just your top-line thoughts on what's just played out. And I don't know if you could watch or hear Byron Donalds there or Kat Cammack, but she said there were at least 45 members who were undecided moments before they went into this expulsion vote.
Yeah, I think if I was still in Congress, I would have voted no. I think the process, having not played out in the courts, is unfair. Look at how they're dealing with it in the United States Senate. You have Senator Menendez, a damning ethics report.
Look at that.
And he is out there, and he's got a trial ahead of him. They're not expelling him. Look at L.C. Hastings. You know, he's since passed away, but he was impeached as a federal judge by the House and the Senate, taken off the federal bench. And yet the people of Florida decided to send him back to Congress. I think the decision is for the people of New York. They may have been lied and cheated and everything else, but it's up to the people in New York to make that decision, not just an ethics committee that issues a very damning report. That is not a full due process. And there is nothing I can defend on George Santos, but I got to tell you on Santos, Congressman Santos, but former Congressman Santos. But I got to tell you, I think the process is wrong, and I would have voted no.
So how do you think leadership might have handled this differently?
Well, it was brought forward. The vote is actually forced by the Democrats. Leadership, showed how they were going to vote. But you know what? Every member gets to make this decision. I think we put far too much on leadership to try to push this one direction or another. They all said, go read the report, make your own decision. And I think Speaker Johnson did it the right way.
I don't know if you heard Congresswoman Cammack, but she said majority down to 2. I mean, this is a situation for Republicans. And she said the vote was not political, but it's hard not to have the politics right staring you in the face.
Well, this is one of those things you got to do what's right. But you know what? If this is the standard, how come they're not having this vote on Adam Schiff or Eric Swalwell?
So why aren't
people
they?
On the Intel committee? I don't know why. What they were on the Intel committee misrepresenting multiple times classified information. Nothing happened to them. They didn't even lose their ability to have a security clearance. Eric Swalwell was allegedly sleeping with a Chinese spy while he was on the Intel committee. Oof. Did anything happen to him? Nothing. So come on, have a same standard. Jason, if that's the standard, you got to live with it.
So with Republicans in the majority, who does that land on? I mean, some of those decisions.
Well, the ethics committee is very balanced. It's an equal number on both sides. And I think the Democrats are very inconsistent here, because if you're going to take this position on Santos, where is your position on Menendez? Because he is equally, I mean, he has damning evidence against him. He has evidence out the Yahoo, and he also has a very scathing ethics report. Look, and yet nobody had a problem with that. In fact, Chuck Schumer allowed him to continue to be the chairman of the committee.
Maybe they'll have the audacity to be more self-preserving and wait for the case to be adjudicated, or cases in this sense. But as you point out, I mean, for days, the headline for Menendez, Bob Menendez of my home state of Cobalt Blue, New Jersey, was there were gold bars found in his closet among his belongings and jackets filled with cash. But again, the cases have not been adjudicated yet, which is what Cammack and Byron Donalds were both pointing out among Republicans. Do you let this play out or simply just lean on the rules? Or could you do both? Could there have been some sort of compromise? I don't know. But the news today is George Santos is out. The number of members in the House of Representatives is down to 434, as announced by the House Speaker, Mike Johnson. Jason, great to see you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.